Hey guys, it's Amy and Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for September 2nd, 2018. So last week I participated in Women in Translation, which was fun. The readathon was geared towards getting you to read translated work by females. So I was hoping to read more than I did, but I did get 3 things done. And I did mention last week that I started with Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto. And I really enjoyed this, and I think I said that in my video, but I didn't really explain, I don't think I explained very well what this book was about. Because again, it's 2 short stories, but they both deal with grief with different people and in different ways of, how that grief happened. And I thought both of them were really well done with that. But there also is this kind of slight magical realism thread to it, just a tad. And I like that, especially in the smaller story, which is called Midnight Shadow, or Moonlight Shadow. Sorry, it's morning. Anyway, Kitchen is the bigger of the stories, and I liked both of them a lot, and I was impressed by most of this. And again, there was a shocking moment in the middle of Kitchen that I'm still like reeling from, like, because it felt like it came out of nowhere, but it was the shock value. But it made sense, later, because the story goes on. Anyway, but I did want to say that I really enjoyed this. This was translated by Megan Backus, just in case I didn't say that. And I did really enjoy this. So that was the first one I finished. And I know I talked about that last week. It's just, I felt like I didn't say enough, and maybe I still didn't say enough. I thought it was good. It was really light, easy read. I mean, not light. I mean, it was a fast read, but there was a lot of emotion in it. I thought it was really well done. I would definitely pick up something else by her. The next book I picked up with Grand Hotel by Vicky Baum. This is translated from the German by Basil Cragen. And I really liked this in some ways, and I really was bored out of my mind in other ways. So it's pretty much this hotel where all these people come to stay, and it's kind of like, I don't know if it's how many days it is. It's a couple of days of seeing how they go about their day, or why they're at that hotel, or why they're in Berlin. Because this takes place in Berlin. And one's a businessman, one's a retired doctor, another one has health issues, and he is, pretty much on his last leg, so his last hurrah, he's going to stay in the big hotel. And there's a ballerina, and there's different people in this, and they all they all interact at some point, or are connected in some way to something there. But to me, it was really, again, this is much more for those people who like character studies, or that more focus on individual characters and not really what's going on around them, mostly what's going on in their heads. And I think if you like that kind of stuff, this is the book for you. I admit, I am very much a plot-driven person. I like the character studies with a lot more plot. So for this one, there wasn't really, and I thought there was going to be an event. Like, how there's some places where there's a place where all these people are, and then one person comes and changes everything. Like, that's kind of what I thought going into this, that somebody would come to this hotel and they'd change everything. And really, that's not what happened. So that was my misconception. That's what I thought would happen. And there was parts of this that were super boring, because we're in one person's perspective for a while, going, learning, what they're going through and things, the issues they have. And the businessman pretty much was I just did not like him, because first you pity him, and then because of his situation, and then you just get mad at him because he does stuff you're like, you deserve everything that happened to you, pretty much. Anyway, so I didn't really care for this book overall. I liked a lot of the characters. I did, I'm not sure I liked the way this whole thing ended, because to me it didn't do what I wanted it to. So that's not to say that it doesn't work. It just means I was kind of hoping for something else. And but anyway, I still glad I read this. I still think it's very interesting. Again, this was written in 1929, and it was a big sensation. Everybody, there was like a stage adaptation. I guess there's also a movie, Hollywood movie. So I might try to find the movie to see what happens. I keep thinking it's like Joan Crawford or something. Somebody was in it. Someone big name. And so I don't know. but I do want to kind of check that out. But I mean, again, as I said, if you like character studies, or more where it's the individuals and what they're doing, it's not really connected with everything else. I mean, there was little threads that cross, but it just wasn't enough for me. I was still looking for that event. And when an event happened near the end, well, other than I was kind of shocked, it was more like, wait a minute, it still doesn't, I don't know, it still wasn't enough for me for that way. Again, it was a good solid read. It just wasn't spectacular to me. And then the last book I picked up for Women in Translation was The Heart by Melis de Carregal. Anyway, this is translated from the French by Sam Taylor. This is a story that deals with a young man of 19 who becomes brain dead after a car accident. And it's pretty much the aftermath of what happens with the medical community as well as the family. And I thought this was really well done. I really enjoyed this. Because again, when I first heard about this, I thought it was nonfiction because of the story, the plot, but it was definitely fiction. But I liked how real it was. It did feel like these all were real people because they were all so very different. All the medical people who were involved in with the boy Simon, who when he was in the hospital and was with brain dead, and how all the different, like the nurses and the doctors, and then the people who want to the parents who have to deal with it, and then learning that do they donate organs or not, or and then the donation process and how that whole network works. I thought it was all really well done. I really enjoyed this. It's very fast paced. The chapters, well, not the chapters, but the sections are really some are really short, and then there'd be a longer section, and there'd be a short, and so you read it really fast. The pace was I thought it was really well done that way. There's only a few times where I thought she went a little long in one of the one of the doctors or nurses, their backstory. Like I just got to I really don't care enough about that. But that was just that there were just certain ones I didn't connect with. So I was like, I don't care about that. But I mean, they still weren't super long, so it wasn't dragging that much. It would be a momentary pause, I guess, in the flow of the story to me. But overall, I really liked this, and if that sounds anything interesting to you, I probably didn't do a very good job of that. But I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad I read it. It was much better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I really wasn't sure, and it was one of those things where I just bought because I saw somebody talk about it on BookTube, and I thought it sounded interesting, and I bought it, and so I finally got to that. So I'm really glad I read that. Anyway, so those are the things I finished for Women in Translation, and that's pretty much all I finished this week, because I stayed up late on Thursday night to finish The Heart, and then I thought, well, Friday was still one more day of the readathon, but I just didn't want to start something new because it was one of those days. Anyways, so I picked up the book I was in the middle of before the readathon, and that is 1984 by George Orwell. Yes, I'm still working on this. I'm now within 80 pages of the end, so I might tab this so that I read 10 pages a day at least, even during the next week, so I can finish this. I just want to be done. And again, this is my favorite so far of the dystopians that I've read, but that's not saying a whole lot, because it's not, I still got so bored. The last 20 pages were horrible. It was just so dry because it's the Goldstein book in the middle. If you've read it, you get it. Anyway, so Big Brother, and government manipulating everybody. I mean, I totally get why people talk about this book now, and I'm definitely catching the references, and I'm glad I'm reading it for that reason, but it's not enjoyable to me. So I do want to get through the last 80 pages to say I'm done. And I will finish this month in September, because I just need to get it done. And then just really quickly, I am going to be reading my my TBR for Translate-a-thon is this week from today, the 2nd to the 9th. And so these are the books that I have talked about in my TBR. So if you want to see that, go watch that video. I'm not going to say a whole lot about this, except that the first one I'm picking up is 7 Lives and One Great Love, Memoirs of a Cat by Lena Devany. Now, the only reason I'm going to bring this one up is this just looks so cute. So this is translated from the modern Greek by Konstantin Matsuakis. And I'm just looking forward to this because the first page was hilarious when the kitty cat's talking about his parents and how his mother doesn't know where, you know, he doesn't know his father, and that his mother, I don't know, it's just funny. I mean, it's anyway, I'm looking forward to this. So this is the first book I'm going to pick up. Can you tell? I'm just giddy to try this book. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. But the rest of the stuff is on my TBR. That's, again, the Translate-a-thon is again, another translated works. I think it's great. I think we should, I definitely have bought a lot of books in the last month since people are talking about more about the translated works, and I love seeing everybody's TBR for their Translate-a-thon, as well as ones I saw for women in translation, because my list has just gotten out of control of books that I want, but they're all books that a lot of them I didn't know about, or I forgot about, or I didn't realize that was one in translation, so it's been really great that way. And then the only other book I want to bring up that I'm probably going to be listening to on my, in my car is One of Us, The Story of a Massacre in Norway and Its Aftermath. And I don't know how to say her name, sorry. But this is translated from the Norwegian by Sarah Death. And this is about the true crime story about the man who bombed Oslo and then went and killed quite a few kids or young adults at a political camp on some island, so in Norway. So I am super interested. I mean, this is one of those things where you want to hear the backstories, but right now the backstory is kind of boring, so I'm not sure. So I'm working my way through it. It's also the slowest audiobook I think I've ever listened to, and I don't know the narrator, so next time I'll remember to, when I get farther into it, I'll get the narrator's name, but it's really slow. So I think I'm going to actually speed it up. I did talk about that, I think, last week, and I just didn't listen to this at all this last week. For some reason, audiobooks just did not click for me, so we'll see how this week goes. Again, I go through phases where I listen to it in my car, or I just want to listen to music, and last week I just listened to music. So I'm going to attempt to get more of this done. I'm only read about 80 pages, so that's about couple hours on the audiobook, and the audiobook's like 20 hours. So it's a long haul. I do not expect to get this done at all this week. I'm going to just attempt to get a good section of it done, and then hopefully finish it out either sometime this month or in October. We'll see how long this audiobook lasts. So that is it. That's what I've read and what I'm in the middle of and what I'm hoping to read in the next week. So are you guys doing Translate-a-thon? I think you should. It's fun. I'm enjoying reading books that are translated right now. It's kind of funny, I had 2 back-to-back weeks, but I think I'm getting through a lot of books that I've bought. I also bought a lot of books, so anyway, I'm working on it. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good weekend, and those who get Monday off, enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.